In 1977, two spacecraft called Voyager 1 and 2 were sent into space on a risky journey to study Jupiter, Saturn, Saturn's rings, and Jupiter and Saturn's biggest moons up close. After more than 4.5 decades, Voyager is more than 12 billion miles away from Earth. It has left our solar system and is now in interstellar space, where it is using its 5 scientific instruments to learn more about the world. But with age comes a new set of problems, such as a power source that is running low and could shut down important spaceship equipment. So this doesn't happen, the Voyager team has taken the brave step of using a small backup power supply that was set away as part of an onboard safety system. Because of this choice, one piece of scientific equipment on Voyager 2 will not be turned off until 2026 instead of this year. Radioisotope thermoelectric generators turn energy from decaying plutonium into radioisotopes, which are then used to power the Voyager probes. As the generators wear out over time, they produce less power each year. This could make it hard for the spacecraft's important sensors to work. To make up for the loss of power, the spaceship will have to go further into space. Engineers have turned off equipment like heating and other things that aren't needed to keep the ship in the air with these options. Voyager 2's batteries were dead, so the team had to come up with a new way to keep the sensors working as Voyager 2 went deeper into interstellar space. Scientists will be able to answer some of the most important questions about the shape of the heliosphere and its role in protecting Earth from the energetic particles and other forms of radiation found in the interstellar environment with the data it collects. If the new method works for Voyager 2, the team may use it on Voyager 1 as well. This would make sure that these brave ships can continue to explore the mysteries of the universe for a few more years. In the meantime, a telescope that looks for aliens has picked up a weak but interesting signal from Voyager 1. Yes, you heard that right. The Allen Telescope Array in California sent a radio telescope pirate last year after it was fixed up. This telescope is used for astronomical observations and the search for alien intelligence at the same time. It was a surprise when the auto detection system picked up a signal from Voyager 1, which is currently at the edge of the solar system far beyond the orbit of Pluto. The Voyager 1 probe can still talk to the camera. On July 9th, 20 of its 42 tents, which are each more than 20 feet wide, were used to send a signal. It's interesting to note that the signal traveled more than 150 times the distance from the Earth to the Sun, and the camera recorded 15 minutes of data that was saved on a disk. But it's interesting to note that the statement didn't say anything about the signals. We do know that things can go wrong 14.6 billion miles away from her, and in the interstellar medium with little to no human help to save the day. And the voyages have been going on since the 70s, so they're 45 years old. That's why Voyager 1 started to send home some gobbled nonsense instead of telemetry data in May of 2022. NASA started working on a way to fix it from afar. Several months later, they had won. Voyager 1 is back online and communicating perfectly with ground control as if it never happened. NASA, which was billions of miles away from the spacecraft, was able to fix the problem pretty easily. But the spacecraft came back online in mid-May with a new mystery. The system on Voyager 1 that keeps its high-gain antenna working, called the Attitude Articulation and Control System, or AACS, started sending confusing jumbles of data instead of the usual reports. These usually carry information about the health and state of the spacecraft. From our point of view, it looked like the spacecraft had something like an electronic version of a phase error situation, which makes speech hard to understand. The data may appear to be randomly generated or does not represent any possible state, so the AACS could explain it. Even though there were reports about the spacecraft's health, NASA said at the time that Voyager 1 seemed to be in good shape. Even though the ship's radio signal stayed strong and steady, showing that the antenna was still aimed at Earth and not in the way the AACS said it was in the reports to NASA, the ship was thought to be lost. In the same way, Voyager 1's science systems kept gathering and sending data as normal. They were not affected by any of the strange things that happened to the AACS. Also, whatever was wrong with the AACS did not set off a full safety system that is supposed to put the spacecraft into safe mode when something goes wrong. Thanks to NASA experts, they were able to figure out what was wrong and come up with a solution. It turned out that the AACS was sending its tracking data through a virus-infected computer on board. NASA says that another computer on board may have sent a bad order to the system. Well, they say it's not a big deal for Voyager 1's health right now, but the real problem needs to be found and fixed to stop strange things from happening again. Voyager 1 has been traveling through interstellar space far from our sun's magnetic field for the past 10 years. The field had shielded the ship from cosmic rays and other forms of radiation from between the stars. Just like this magnetic field protects against high-energy particles and radiation from the sun. It is known that cosmic rays can mess with technology right now. When one of these fast, energetic particles hits a computer chip, it can cause small memory mistakes that add up over time. It's likely that this will be a problem for the computers on Voyager 1, too. A mystery like this is kind of par for the course at this point in the Voyager mission, says Susan Dodd, who's in charge of Voyager 1 and 2 missions. Both of the spaceships are almost 45 years old, which is a lot longer than what the mission plan called for. We also have space between the stars, which has a lot of radiation and has never been visited by a spaceship. We need to wait and see what Voyager will find on its next trip and what new things it will find. Looking back, it's been 45 years since NASA's Voyager spacecraft blasted off from Earth. But the twin explorers still came home from billions of miles away. We still do the "Hello, are you okay? That's great," said Susan, once a week. The check-ins give Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 the chance to tell each other exactly where they are. These places are on the far side of the heliosphere, in a part of the solar system where a magnetic field keeps the galactic cosmic rays from hitting the other planets and the solar system as a whole. During one of these contacts in May, Voyager 1 sent a perplexing signal. Data from the computer that controls its orientation came back in jumbled bits, scrambled ones and zeros, and it continued to look gibberish. It's like turning on the check engine light, adding another layer of confusion. Bruce Wager, a JPL engineer who was in charge of the Voyager missions, says that we couldn't figure out where the trouble was happening. This computer is very important because it makes sure that the antenna on Voyager 1 is pointing straight towards Earth. If it stopped working or losing power, it would end the longest phone call ever made by humans. When the Voyager 1 is moving at the speed of light, it takes about 22 hours for a full report to reach us. But the signals are well worth the wait because they have important scientific information about magnetic fields between stars, ionized particles, and plasma waves from space. The Deep Space Network is made up of 3 huge radio and computer stations in the Mojave Desert in California, Australia, and Spain. These stations receive transmissions from the Voyagers. They are all over the world, so at least one can be pointed at any place in the sky. Each of the 3 spots has a 230-foot antenna that was built to listen to the Voyagers. But the further away they are, the harder it is for them to hear the radio of the Voyagers. When there isn't enough energy to go around, you have to make a lot of hard decisions about what to give up and what to keep. As for the sudden takeover of its computers, Voyager 1 hasn't said why it made the move in the first place. This is a puzzle that needs to be solved, because it shows that something else in the spaceship is wrong. What do you guys think? Tell us what you think in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned for more.